This just came about after locking up the office where I work. I didn't touch my arm. Here it's also breaking out red blotches on my upper hand. I noticed that I think it's kind of weird when I try to focus the camera that it does that, it does that flickering of the light sensor. Oh, and see here, it's also starting on this part of my wrist. Looks like there's some over here. And right now I'm experiencing some moderate, localized, focused pain around my around the back of my scalp and left ear. I can't really see if the camera is getting this clearly or not because of the angle. That I have to hold the candle. I mean the camera to my arm. Oh, and see. Normally I wear a button-up shirt that covers these these parts of my arms. Oh yeah, see over here I'm on the wrist there, starting to outbreak. I've been trying my hardest to study this phenomenon, and it only happens when I'm in the presence of or in the atmosphere of a radio frequency charged environment and or microwave energy charged environment. Microwave energy coming from Stingray device and or a sonar device, from what I read, and those kind of devices are used by law enforcement. And this is Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I'll reenact my conduct in this room that may try to help explain. well, I can't show too much of the room, but I was on that side, um, and I made some phone calls to punch out, which strangely I forgot my um, employee number, only 6 digits, but I was able to remember the longer digit phone number. I don't. Seems kind of a weird coincidence. And then um, I looked at this. This was left out. Um, on the desk here, the office desk. And what I find interesting is when I first came in to work, I noted the part of the instruction that said check frequently for possible irritation or frostbite. But there's another part in here that oh, there it is. So it says clean and what is that? I have to look at it. Glutaraldehyde of isopropyl alcohol, 70%, or soap and water. Irradiate or gas sterilize. Do not steam sterilize. So apparently this can be irradiated. I wonder with what form of radiation. I don't know. It doesn't specify, but now that I think about it, I remember when I was at the University of Michigan emergency room for head pain and burns, similar to what I appear to be experiencing now. And I was presented with a heat pack and a cold pack. And the heat pack made the symptoms worse. Even when I removed it from the back of my neck and had it moved to the opposite end of the treatment room, and then I actually had to go further to ask that it be removed from the room altogether. And then the symptoms gradually subsided. But that irradiate, that's kind of weird. Anyway, so I don't know, maybe there is a association with this left arm being closer to this substance that seems to require, or at least permit, irradiation. So what kind of radiation would cause this reaction, and through a plastic bag, for that matter? I think the plastic bag gives a clue. The plastic bag barrier. And the strange thing is, I feel the heat sensation on the tops of my hand here for this reaction, but I don't feel any sensation for this. And then I also feel some sensation at the top of my head. I don't know. you can see anything, like right here. And then the back of my nape here, these are what I believe to be razor bumps that are typical from using a razor blade to cut all of my hair off my head. They tend to go away, but in this kind of environment, they become sensitive, and I experience a stinging sensation from them. So that must be an inflammatory response, I presume. So yeah, I looked at that, and then I've had some weird phenomenons, of course, with ink. So here we have some ink here, and the smell of from this ink page, it's similar to toner smell, and it's intense. And in fact, I almost feel like I can taste it in my sinus somehow, and like in the back of my nose, deep in the back of my nose cavity. So there's that. I don't know. This plant looks kind of interesting. And then we have this device here. I don't quite know what that is. I believe it has something to do with security, but the little square there underneath the red dot says vector, and when I turn off the light, it turns green, or glows green. And that red dot actually produces a laser effect. I've demonstrated that in a previous video that I have not posted yet, because I wanted to make sure that I understood its instrumentation. And then this is rare, that there's a coat hanging here after business hours, and it's a wool coat, and seems to have some dog fur on it, black wool coat. And then there's that module here that seems to work in concert with the larger module on the floor that I just videoed to. And in fact, standing in this area, my arm, I feel heat with this arm. So these boxes seem to be drawing at least heat radiation, if not something more specific like radio frequency radiation, or perhaps this device is an infrared instrument. Then there's this fire hydrant here. And I used to know how to interpret the chemical in fire hydrants, but this says ABC dry chemical. But it doesn't seem to say anything more specific. Oh, contents. ABC dry chemical. So I'm going to look these chemicals up. Let's see. This is pressurized with nitrogen. Okay, but this is the chemical profile of this. All right. And then now this arm seems to experience a heat sensation when close to this box. So, and there's also this sticky pad with some ink on it. This seems to be the identification of what's in the box. I have no reason to believe that there's anything else other than that. So I'm gonna lock up again here and see if the effects repeat themselves. But this light here, the other night, I was able to see the light's reflection. Yeah, see? So that's probably infrared, right? See? Yeah, and then weird enough, I just got a shock through the arm that I'm holding this phone with. So that's fascinating. My phone seems to draw the energy from that device. Anyway, I don't, oh, sorry. Oh, well, I'll edit it. Okay. Make sure I got the key. Okay. So, my theory is, oh, there's a vehicle. Campus safety. Oh. Huh. 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 There's two of them in the vehicle, and one of them waved at me. I didn't, they actually stopped to wave at me, but I didn't see a vehicle number. Anyway, so interesting enough, in walking back from the door there, I started to feel a burning sensation here in my hand, which I still feel. So it doesn't seem to be manifesting. But if it does, I'll take subsequent pictures. To show the progression. And then I got this from mopping, a lot. Sometimes I have to use a regular mop and mop a large area of the floor, and so it blistered, and then the fluid went away, but this red blood stain remained, it seemed, and that's kind of unusual. That's never happened before, so maybe it has something to do with the energy phenomenon that I experience here. Um, so here, all of this seems to be regressing, despite the fact that I just reaccounted for all of the movement displacement in the office from where I'm standing now. And even this here, as you can see, it's getting lighter. So, does it not, and then coupled with the circumstance of me interacting with the campus security, which the campus to the university that they're employed by is down the street. That would be Concordia College or Concordia University, and then walking back, I experienced additional stinging sensation. In fact, look, this seems to be progressing slightly, moderately. After encountering the Concordia College security personnel in their vehicle. And yeah, it seems to be developing some stinging sensation in these fingers here. So at this point, I'm probably just repeating myself. But look at that. It's clearing up. And it'll completely go away, disappear. So there you have it. Strange experiences.